Hi guys, this is Mrs. Duda. I know that you're learning about tadpoles and the life cycle of frogs and metamorphosis. I wanted to talk a little bit about what frogs are and how they are able to breathe. And I wasn't able to find a great video on any of that, so I'm going to read a couple of sections from a couple of different books. This first section is coming from Frogs, Face to Face with Frogs by Mark Moffat. It's a really great book if you want to go and check it out at the library. Some of the schools have it. I'm just going to read this little part here. Frogs are amphibians. Vertebrates means they have a backbone. Vertebrates that live part of their lives in the water. Like another group of amphibians, the salamanders, frogs have moist, that means wet, skin, and they drink and breathe through their skin when they are in the water. Now that's very important for the lesson that we're doing with the eggs and the skin permeability, because they breathe through their skin. Can you even imagine? How crazy is that? Unlike salamanders, adult frogs do not have a tail, and their back legs are powerful for jumping. There are more than 5,400 kinds of frogs and toads around the world, but only about 104 of them live in the United States. So these are just some fun pictures. Look at how cute that little guy is sitting on a snail over there. This gentleman says, "I took pictures of this little guy at a tree stump in Panama. He was the toughest dart frog around. When any other dart frogs entered his territory, he would tackle them until they went away." So he's a little tough guy, even though he's a little cute, he's tough. All right, so the next part I'm gonna read about frogs. This was an old one, but you know what? Sometimes the old books are still good. Speaking as an old lady here, you know. So I'm gonna read a couple of pages from this one. Covering the frog's body is a smooth, slippery skin without scales, feathers, or fur. This skin keeps out dirt and germs, but it lets water in. Therefore, the frog does not drink. It gets all the water it needs through its skin. The frog also loses water from its body through the skin. A frog kept in dry air for a short time can lose almost half its weight. When it is put back in water, it quickly takes in the lost liquid and becomes plump once again. So, if you have a pet frog, you definitely need to make sure it's got some water. Most land animals get all the oxygen they need by breathing with the lungs. They expand the rib cage with the chest muscles and draw air into the lungs. The frog, however, has 3 ways of getting oxygen. 3 different ways. The first way is called lung breathing. Because the frog does not have ribs, it must push air into its lungs with its mouth. About once or twice a minute, it draws in a mouthful of air, then closes its nostrils and forces the air into its lungs. As it does, you can see the frog twitch. So in this picture, the frog has drawn air into its mouth. The floor of the mouth is pushed out, so the throat looks fat. Because the mouth is full of air. In this picture, the floor of the mouth is pushed in. The frog has forced the air into its lungs and the throat looks thinner. In addition to breathing with its lungs, the frog also absorbs oxygen through the roof of its mouth. The roof of the mouth has a network, that means like a whole bunch kind of all spreading all about around, of tiny blood vessels that take in oxygen. To get oxygen to this network, the frog constantly draws air in and out of its mouth only. This process is called mouth breathing. I know some people who do that. The third way a frog takes in oxygen is right through its skin, which can absorb oxygen from water and air. In the winter, when the frog hibernates on the pond bottom, what's hibernate mean? It means to sleep in the winter, and your body kind of slows down. In the winter, when the frog hibernates on the pond bottom, it does not breathe at all, but gets the little oxygen it needs through its skin. So then it's talking about they also need food. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that frogs can breathe through their skin with mouth breathing and with their lungs. And I just thought those were some interesting books to read. Also behind me, you can see a plethora of books that are in the library if you want to check out more about frogs.